Happy summer! So today we're going to be making this wedding bouquet, and I just wanted to thank Petal Driven for all of these beautiful flowers. They are an online wholesaler that anybody can shop at. You do not need a resale license or anything. And I'm always going to be offering you 10% off your order and free shipping. So if you are doing flowers for a wedding, this is the perfect place and supplier to buy all of your flowers. Fresh, shipped straight to your door. I'm going to link below all the ingredients that we're working with today for our bouquet. And if you're interested, please click below. Hope this inspires you as you are out there trying to gather ideas. So I'm going to share with you all the ingredients we're using and the tools you're going to need. To get started, what I usually do is I go through and I prep all of my goods. So I've got all of my goods here, and for example, my roses, I've de-stemmed, I've de-thorned most of them, so they are ready to go. Because the trick here is that your hand is going to get very full, and so in order to have one hand holding your bouquet as you're building it and another hand needs to be available to just pick something up. For example, this Blushing Bride Protea I've stripped. So it needs to be able to pick something up and be ready to add to your bouquet. First and foremost, prep all your ingredients. Today's bouquet is going to be a little boho, just free-flowing, beautiful, inspired bouquet. Our color palette is Dusty Rose, whites, neutrals, light pink with a little bit of pop of this darker pink with this Bubblegum Garden Rose. So we've got just a lot of fun texture for the filler, so I'm excited to build this, and let's get started. Okay, so really quick, I wanted to pause and I wanted to just show you guys that as I'm building this, I'm kind of alternating all the different ingredients throughout and pairing things together that I want to be paired and spacing out the different colors and textures a little bit. I have a very loose grip on it right now because as I am building it, I am pulling things up or pushing things down as needed because I want to get the most visibility out of every little piece and texture in here that I want. So for example, obviously my stunner pieces are my peonies, so these need to be well seen. So I'm going to want this to be the front of the bouquet, and then I'm going to want to have a peony right in front here, and then the other ones kind of well spread out. So I'm just building. This is definitely a process. It takes a while. Sometimes you need to pull things out and reposition. So just be patient with yourself as you build. Usually the first one you build takes the most time. So I always start with my bridesmaid bouquet because that is usually, I kind of need a couple practice rounds before I get in my rhythm, and then I end it obviously on the bride's bouquet because I want it to be at my prime. This is about halfway done. You can see that this is what I'm feeling is going to probably be the front, and then the back is still very bare. So I'm going to continue to add to it. Again, be patient with yourself as you're building. It's a work in progress, and you know, you can just continue to play with it as needed until you get it just the way you'd like it to be. I don't want this to be a really tight bouquet, so that's why my hand is being very loose. I want it to be more open, more full, more organic, and kind of boho looking. So it just depends on the style, but that's what I'm building today. And as you can see, I need to pull off some of these leaves, which make it a little bit difficult to do with one hand, which is why it's important to prep everything in advance. Okay, so here's another angle. I'm feeling at a point where I'm almost getting done. Just kind of looking at it, moving some pieces around. I'm really big, if you're looking at the front of the bouquet, to not just have like this part of the rose, the base of the rose showing. If that's possible, I kind of like to use some filler to kind of soften the front of the bouquet so it looks a little bit more, I don't know, organic and delicate, not so awkward. As you can see here, I'm almost done. Before I wrap it, I always just kind of go through. I obviously pull off some of the stems at the bottom that didn't get trimmed well enough. Clean it up, and depending on how tight you want it is how tight you're gonna wrap it. So you either can squeeze it super tight if you want it more of a formal look, or if you do want it kind of looser, that more kind of modern organic look that you're seeing out there a lot, you just kind of keep a looser grip on it as you are pulling things down and up and just kind of spreading it out a little bit. As you can see here, it's kind of super multi-dimensional, a lot of different textures and heights. I personally love that. So I'm feeling like this is in a really good spot. I love, love, love the bouquet. But right now, right before I wrap it, again, pull off any stems, and then I'm kind of going through and making sure that everything that I want to be visible is visible. So if that means having to pull up some heads of roses a little bit higher than others, or maybe like my peony right here needs to come up a little bit higher, sometimes I might need to push some things down. And when you're looking at a bouquet, you're always building it with a front in mind. So I know that I want this to be my front. So because you're gonna think about somebody walking down the aisle, you want it to be visually appealing, pretty much this whole side and the back, but for the most part, I really want you to focus on the front. And my pet peeve is when stems in the front are just shown like this, like the base of a peony or the base of a rose. So I like to take filler and just have that be kind of at the front, because it just adds a softer, more romantic element. Take a stem and kind of push it down. If you want to add some more in the middle after you've already added, and then it's down here, and then I can kind of pull it down like that. This is what it's gonna look like in the bride or bridesmaid's hands. I'm liking it. The hiding Cappuccino Rose down here that I feel like might need to move. I would like this to be a little bit more centered. And I do have that bubblegum pink in here, but I only used it 3 times. So once in the back, one's kind of in the center, pushed down a little bit, and one's on the far side. And it's just because I wanted a little pop of pink, but not a huge amount. I wanted this to be a little bit more of a subtle bouquet, but definitely summery. So let's wrap it. So remember, you're gonna wanna keep one hand tightly. Now that you have it in your spot, you're gonna wanna keep one hand on the base at all times. Grab your tape. Here's my tape roll. There's probably a better way to do this. Pre-cut it. I kind of just lick the end, and I take the tape and I want to tie it at the top base. So basically where my hand is being held, I'm going to start and I'm going to wrap it by placing the tape right there, and I'm just going to slowly wrap it around. And it doesn't need to be perfectly straight, especially when you're getting started. But you're gonna want it definitely tight, because this is what's gonna keep your bouquet in place with how you are holding it and how you like it. And then this eventually, obviously, will be covered with ribbon. So this is the back of the bouquet, and this is the front. So I usually wrap it, I don't know how many times, but I keep it about 2 inches thick of tape. Now it's wrapped. I probably will wrap it one more time, but to save time, you guys don't need to see that. Here is our bouquet, our finished product. And then take a vase similar to like this size or a tall cylinder. Just trim them after I wrap the ribbon around it for the wedding. But keep it long. If you make this like the night before, make sure you keep your stems long. Make sure everything is in water when you stick it down into the vase. So like I would need to fill this up to the top. I could trim a little bit off the bottom. There is a boho kind of romantic summer inspired bouquet for you guys. I hope you enjoyed making this with me, and if you have any questions, I try my best to answer all of you. So leave a comment below, and with our same flowers, I'm now gonna put together a centerpiece, and so that will be in another video in the next day or two. So stay tuned for that if you're looking to do another wedding inspired centerpiece based on this kind of look and feel. Happy flowers, happy designing, have a great day. Bye guys.